Okay, students, so for today's video, it is all about journal or the general journal. So this video is a requested video because I am handling entrepreneurship, and in the entrepreneurship, the given milks of the debited is na dito ang topic all about the bookkeeping, and the bookkeeping is the journal entry, the general ledger, and the trial balance, as well as the preparing of the balance sheet and the income statement. So daghan tag mga videos all about journal entry. So now we will focus on discussing what is journal entry. So the very first the content of this video is bookkeeping. What is the meaning of bookkeeping? The journal, the advantages of a journal, and the guidelines on how to use the journal. Okay. So, minsan magsasalita ako ng Tagalog kasi meron tayong mga viewers na gustong maintindihan kung ano ang sinasabi natin, because most of my videos I am talking in Bisaya. So now, we will talk in English, sometimes in Bisaya, and sometimes in Tagalog, so that everyone could understand what am I talking about. Okay, for bookkeeping, bookkeeping refers to the business transactions in the book of business. It is based on the premise that business transaction must be properly recorded. So in bookkeeping, you are to record business transactions. It means that business transactions are those transactions that are considered quantifiable or given accounting recognition. Okay, quantifiable, it means na meron siyang amount. So, if for example is the company had bought an equipment in the amount of 100,000. So, it is a business transaction. It is because it affects your assets, it affects your equity, also it affects your it affects your assets, your equity, and also it has a amount because of the 100,000. So in transaction is considered quantifiable when it affects namely the elements, assets, liabilities, owner's equity, revenues, and expenses. Okay, so that is bookkeeping. So a bookkeeping from recording the business transaction up to getting the subsidiary balances of each of the accounts, and then towards the making of the trial balance, which is dapat the trial balance is balanse siya because it is called a trial balance. Okay, so now we will talk about what is journal. So a journal functions as a financial diary. It is used to record chronologically all transactions of a business as they occur, since it provides the first evidence of a formally recorded transactions. It is commonly referred to as the Book of Original Entry. Okay, a journal is tinatawag siya na Book of Original Entry. It is because siya ang pinakaunang referred book sa lahat ng mga transactions na nagagawa ng isang company. Okay, it is a financial diary. It is called also a financial diary. It is because, for example, if the transaction starts at January, so all the transactions starts at January 1. Lahat ng mga transaction na nandyan sa January 1 is i-record mo yan lahat. Kahit na maliit yung mga amounts or malalaki yung mga amounts, dapat lahat yon ay naka-record. And chronological, hindi dapat na naka-record ka na ng January 1 and then naka-record ka na ng January 2 and then may nalimutan kang i-record para sa January 1, babalik ka na naman sa January 1. Hindi pwede yon. Dapat lahat naman nangyari na mga transaction sa January 1 is i-record mo na bago ka pumunta sa pagre-record ng transaction sa January 2 and so on and so forth on the dates. Okay. So that is a general journal. Okay. So the advantages of a general journal is it provides a systematic and chronological records of transactions. So, sa sinasabi ko pa kanina is, kung nagsimula ka sa January 1, i-record mo lahat ng nangyari sa January 1 and then, saka ka mag-record ng mga transactions na nangyari sa January 2, January 3, so on and so forth, hanggang sa iyong calendar year end, which is, if you are a calendar year end, it is December, and then the fiscal year end is any year, any months of the year, basta kay naka-reach ka og 12 months. It simplifies the ledgers as some detailed in the journal need to be written in the ledger. Okay, it means that kapag nagsulat ka na ng iyong general ledger, magiging simple na lang ang lahat. Bakit? Kasi kung ano ang nasa journal mo, ay yun din ang makikita mo sa iyong ledger. Okay. Next na advantage is it provides adequate explanation of each entry and presents necessary information about the transaction such as account debited and account credited and the related amounts. So the very advantage of a journal is that you will know directly or you will get directly the amounts. Kung ano yung amount na ilalagay mo para sa debit at ano yung amount na ilalagay mo sa credit. So, dapat balanse sila. Kung naglagay ka ng 100,000 sa debit, dapat 100,000 din yun sa credit. So, that is the third advantage of a general journal. Fourth advantage, it ensures that the double entry bookkeeping system is observed when recording transactions. So, kanina sinabi na may debit and credit. So, ngayon sinabi na may double entry bookkeeping. So, it means na kung anong nangyari sa debit, yun rin ang mangyayari sa credit. Next is, it helps in solving misunderstanding in business because it serves as a proof and legal evidence of transactions. So, kanina, ang isang advantage niya is kung anong mga recorded or nakasulat na sa iyong general journal ay makikita mo na sa iyong general ledger. So, it helps in solving misunderstanding. For example, if some of your users, the owners, wanted to understand what happened, why the balances of a cash is lumiit siya, pwede kang pumunta balik sa iyong journal at ipaintindi mo sa owner kung anong nangyari, bakit lumiit ang balanse ng iyong cash for the year. So, yun, makakabigay yun ng understanding sa kanya kung anong nangyari sa mga cashes within the year. Okay, these are the guidelines on using the general journal. So, in your general journal, may makikita kang date column. So, the date column, it shows the date of the occurrence of the transaction. The year and the month are not rewritten for every entry unless they have changed or a new page is needed. Okay, for the date column, diba sinabi ko kanina na chronological order ang nangyayaring business transaction sa general journal. So, kapag sa January 1, maraming transaction ang nangyari is hindi mo na isusulat muli ang year and month kung anong year and month yun. For example, is January 2020. So, ang iyon na lang i-rewrite kung ang number 1 na lang. So, makikita mo yan mamaya kapag nag-solve na tayo or gumamit na tayo ng general journal sa solving. Okay. Next is the particulars. It shows the account debited and credited as well as brief explanation of the transaction. The debit column is entered at the extreme left of the first line, while the credited amount is entered slightly indented on the next line. A brief explanation of the transaction is entered on the next line for the credit account. Okay, so particulars, makikita mo doon kung anong account ang iyong i-debit, kung anong account ang credit mo, at ang explanation kung anong nangyari sa ni-record mo na transaction. So, Next is the posting reference. It is the number given from the chart of accounts if given, and if not, leave it blank. So some of the transactions, the solving or the sum of the transactions, it has may binibigay na chart of accounts. So from the chart of accounts, may given na mga numbers before the account. So magagamit nyo yon for the posting reference. So makikita mo yon mamaya pag magbigay tayo ng example. Okay, for the debit column is the first money column where the amount of the debit account is entered, and the credit column is the second money column where the amount of the credit account is entered. So now we will have an example on how to use your general. Okay, so this is your general journal. So as what we've discussed earlier, sa general journal makikita nyo ang inyong date, makikita nyo ang particulars, makikita nyo ang debit and credit. So in general journal, dalawa lang ang column. Okay, the column is for the debit amount and for the credit amount. Okay, so sinabi kanina na sa date, ang ulit-ulit mong isusulat ay ang date lamang, ang numero, ang day, meaning kung anong araw. Okay. Ang year and the month is hindi mo na i-rewrite. Okay. For example, if it is 2020, year 2020, and then January. Okay. For the January 1 transaction. So, ganyan isusulat. Okay. Ito yung year mo, ito yung months mo, at ito yung day, which is January 1, 2020. Okay, for the particulars, dito mo makikita ang debit account, credit account, at saka ang iyong explanation. Your debit account, for example, is a cash. So, mamaya na natin sisimulan ang pag-analyze ng mga transaction. Discuss muna natin kung paano gamitin ang general journal. Okay. So, example, your debit account is cash. So, as you can see, your debit account should be dito siya na linya, nakadikit siya sa dalawang linyang pula na ito. Tapos, ang iyong credit account is naka-indent siya sa iyong debit account. Okay, example, your debit account is Daisy Capital. Okay. So, Daisy Capital. So, that is your debit account. As you can see, nakadikit yung debit account mo dyan at yung credit account mo is naka-indent siya, saka ka magsulat ng iyong credit account. Now, you will write also your explanation below your credit account. So, ang explanation mo ay ilalagay mo dito below your credit account at saka nakalinya siya sa iyong debit. Diba? The credit is indented, so ang debit hindi naka-indent. Nandito siya, nakadikit siya sa dalawang linyang pula. So, for example, your explanation is to record the initial investment. Okay, initial investment of EC Daisy Jean. Okay, as you can see, kapag kulang na yung area na susulatan mo sa particular na column, huwag mong isobra yung sulat mo papunta sa debit and credit na column. Dapat putulin mo yung sulat mo dyan at saka bumalik ka dito, then nakalinya pa rin siya. Because in accounting, the meaning of accounting is, the nature of accounting is an art. So, this one is also an art. As you can see, nakalinya si credit sa explanation and then naka-indent si credit. Nakalinya si debit sa kay explanation and then naka-indent si credit. So, kapag sunod na transaction na naman, ganito pa rin ang makikita mo. So, mukha siyang art, 'di ba? Kasi magulong tignan. Kaya art ang ibig sabihin sa kanya. Okay. So, kapag nasa debit ka na naman na amount, for example, the initial investment of EC Daisy Jean for the company is 100,000. So, ang pagsulat mo niyan ay 100,000. Okay, each column is isinulat mo yung mga sa kada boxes. So, this is your ones, your tens, your hundreds, your thousands, your tens thousands, and your 100,000s. So, ganito mo siya isulat. The next naman sa credit is, diba dito yung credit mo, Daisy Capital. So, isusulat mo na naman yung amount dito na 100,000. Okay. So, may isusulat ka talaga na amount sa kada box. No? The zero should be inside of each of the column or box para sa debit and para sa credit. Okay. So, this is the amount for your debit and this is the amount for your credit. Now, for example, another transaction had occurred on January 1. So, diba, sinabi kanina na hindi mo na isusulat muli ang 2020 at ang January. Ano na lang ang isusulat mo? Ang day na lang. Okay. May transaction na naman na nag-occur for January 1. Let us say, the transaction occurred in January 1 is you had paid a prepaid expense for the company. Prepaid rent for the company. So, for example, prepaid rent ang iyong debit account. Okay. So, dyan mo pa rin isusulat si prepaid rent. Okay. As you can see, nandyan si cash na debit for the first transaction. Andito naman si prepaid rent for the second transaction. Nakalinya silang dalawa. Next, dahil nagbayad ka, so may cash. So, si cash is the credit account. Okay. As you can see, si Daisy Capital, which is a credit account for the first transaction, is nakalinya siya kang cash, which is the credit account for the second transaction for the day of January 1. Now, you will proceed to the explanation. So, explanation is below your credit account, which is nakalinya kang debit. Pagkasulat, to record the payment of prepaid rent. Okay. For example, your prepaid rent is 2,500. Diba? Ito yung ones, tens, 100,000s, 10,000s, and hundreds. Diba? 100,000. Okay. So, kay 2,500 man, dito mo ilalagay si 2, and then 5, and then dalawang 0. Kasi si 2,500 ang amount ng iyong prepaid rent. Now, you will also write the 2,500 on the credit. Diba? Sinabi kanina that kung ano ang mga amount na nailagay for the debit is yun rin ang mailalagay mo for the credit. So, dapat balanse silang dalawa. Okay, so this is how you will use your general journal. For analyzing each of the transactions, we will furtherly discuss that on the next video. So, if you have questions, please comment down below para ma-address natin yung mga questions niyo. And thank you for watching. I hope it helped you. I hope it give you knowledge on how to use the general journal. So in the next video, we will proceed on analyzing transactions. Thank you and see you in the next videos.